Hey, this is Angela with today's Cuppa. So excited. I got it's time, and it's time to talk about this and talking about timelines. Today is October 27th. I don't talk about dates a lot in these webcasts anymore, but it is relevant to what I'm talking about today. And I have a lot to cover in 10 to 11 minutes, so I'm going to try to do this very quickly. So here we are at October 27th, and you might say, so what's the deal with that? Well, we have all these prophecies that are coming, that we're coming into the period of the prophecies that we've been given. So we had the Mayan prophecy, the Hopi prophecy, Nostradamus, the biblical revelation, the Edgar Casey stuff. We've got a whole bunch of different ones, and we're all coming into the same period of time of where these prophecies were to take place. And everybody's sort of a little tense about it. If you know about any of them, you're sort of tense, or you try to ignore it and look the other way because you're afraid of it, and want to know what's going on. Well, originally, many people say December 12th, 2012 is the end of the old Mayan calendar thing, and so everybody's sort of looking at that. However, when I guess mathematicians have looked at one calendar to another, they really compared apples to apples and realized that actually tomorrow, which would be October 28th, 2011, would be the actual end of the old Mayan calendar. So in that, the next question is, well, what does that mean? Okay, don't wake up expecting we're going to have, huge earthquakes and floods and whatever, the earth is going to implode and everything else. What's happening is we're coming into a new age now. The old Mayan calendar, the old calendar is ending. The old age is ending, and we're coming into the new age. Well, what does that mean? Well, we've done this experience of the ego. We've done this experience of disempowering ourselves. We've done thousands and thousands and thousands of years of this, and we're like, okay, let's be done with it now. We're ready for the next level of evolution. And I've talked about this before. We're sort of ripping the Band-Aid off. So all this stuff is coming up to clear out the stuff that we're holding on to from the ego, to get a clearer connection on coexisting with our higher self while still being in a physical state. So it sort of gets into that whole Earth 2.0 thing. And it not only happens on our personal level. Now we're starting to work at things multidimensionally, work on things at multi-levels all at the same time. It happens individually within us, within our families. It happens within our communities, our institutions, our governments. They're all going through huge, massive change. Well, look what's going on in the world around us. Look at the Occupy Wall Street stuff. We have all this stuff that's really boiling and coming into this point of, you know what, this is broken. This is broken. It doesn't serve us anymore. That's really what we're all going through. So it sort of started, my opinion is it sort of started really heavily in August. A lot of people say it started happening April, May, June period of this year, but from August we really hit it hard, and so many people are going through massive change, massive restructuring in their lives, in their jobs, in their world, in their relationships, and what they expected out of life, or what they thought they expected out of life, and what they are finding out is their soul's purpose and what's going to make their soul sing. So it's an exciting time. It is so exciting. And yes, we have physical things going on around us. We have the earth is more active with earthquakes and all severe storms and everything than ever before. But again, we are manifesting this change within and without. As above, so below. As within, so without. Vice versa. It's just all one. It's that oneness that we all have. So we're reflecting what's going on at all these different levels. It's all going on at once. So what a huge shift we're going through, and it's our choice if we're going to go through it without, with trauma, drama, and illness, or if we're going to go through it with grace and ease and balance and harmony and joy, as I always like to tell people. So the first thing is really getting through the muck. Because getting through the muck is really clearing all out this junk that's sort of putting in blockades, that's putting up these walls, that's preventing us from being our higher selves, from being the divinity that we are. And, it's funny, I saw a quote this morning in email that said, in increments, you begin to experience a taste of the magnitude of the real power that is your true essence. And that is so timely and so perfect, because that's what we're doing, is we're taking these shifts. And we started earlier this year, and we're shifting step by step in these plateaus, and we're getting ready to jump off the cliff and fly, which is so magnificent. But we got to do the work first, and how we do it is our choice. I choose, like I said, I try to do with as much grace and ease and balance and harmony and joy and fun and adventure and excitement as possible. And the chimes agree. And in doing, and to do that, though, we have to be able to step through the muck, the stuff that we don't want to look at, the things that we have repressed in ourselves because it scares us, or we have anger or fear or something that we're holding on to that we haven't released. Because what's happening is everything is changing, right? So not just the energy, but the relationships, what's expected from relationships. I mean, expectations have to, we're in the process of releasing all that. The way relationships are is changing. The way institutions are is changing. The way we're disconnected is changing. And the way that we limit ourselves to only loving certain people, to only loving a small group or one person, that's changing too, because we are all love. We are all here to love each other fully and unconditionally. And the more we do that, the more we step into our own power, and we actually step into our personal legend, our highest and best, and what makes our soul sing. So again, I'm going to back up a little bit. To get started on that, and it's time for us to clear up this muck. And I'm still going through it. We all go through it. I've been doing this actively for more than 2 years now. And I've done it passively, not even knowing I was doing it for a whole long period of time in my life. There are others who are just starting. And everybody's somewhere in between. Or, I've been doing it for 40 years, been doing it for 4 days, and everything in between. Or just starting to wake up to it. So what does that mean? That means that we just have to decide on how we're going to clear it out and allow the stuff that doesn't serve us to fall away. And that's everything. We're taking away the boxes, and I've said that many times in these webcasts. We're taking away the boxes. We're throwing them away. We don't have boxes anymore. There are no boxes as to what a certain relationship has to be like, to what has to be expected from this. There are no, we're releasing the boxes of what is expected even from what we do, and like the parameters around everything in our lives. And that includes on the spiritual front and on the spiritual path. What is expected? What can we do? We can do everything. We can take the boxes away and change it all. If it comes from love, it's perfect. And if we set our intention for the highest and best, most positive experience with grace and ease and balance and harmony and joy, it's going to happen that way as much as possible with all the other parties involved. So the steps to this is letting it come up and accepting it first. So looking at something that you have repressed, something that you've dug down deep because you judge yourself about it in one way or another. Bring it up and look at it, and look at it without judgment, without emotion, and say, what was the lesson from this? What have I learned from it? And embrace the divinity that we are. Embrace the fact that we chose to have that experience, or I chose to have that experience, and I did it. Okay, I can look at it and I learned it, and thank you. I'm writing it off in the Akashic Records. I'm done with this. And then allow the feelings and allow it all to flow through as you're releasing it. Don't what happens when we hold on to something and we try to control what happens with it too much is that then sometimes we end up growing it, or we break off a part of it by accident and still hold on to it. If we allow it to flow through, guess what? It will resolve itself. If you allow it to flow through without feeding it with anger or fear or sadness, and just letting the emotion come through without feeding it and making it larger, that's another step, allowing it. Okay, then you release it, because now we've accepted, we've embraced it, we've allowed it to flow through. Then we can release it because we've done it and we're completed. We've completed it. And this sounds really easy, but I've spent months and months and better part of last year learning how to do this so I can teach others how to do it, because it is such a productive, and it might not seem like it's going to happen as fast, but it actually happens faster that you can release this stuff when you do it in these steps, when you accept, embrace, allow, and then release, because it is not creating any more energy to it. It's just looking and observing and seeing and understanding the lesson and embracing yourself for having that experience, allowing it to flow through and release and resolve itself. So, wow, that was a mouthful, and I'm already at 10.5 minutes. I do have 2 quick clearings for you today. One is, if you would like to receive a download and understanding on how to release, on releasing that which doesn't serve you, and how to identify that which doesn't serve you with ease and grace and balance and harmony and joy without the trauma, drama, and illness part, and the feelings of releasing, that which doesn't serve you, that we can do it with grace and ease and balance and harmony and joy in the positive way, that we're allowed to, that's possible, that's okay to, that you're ready, willing, and able to, that you have it in your life, then all you need to say is clear your mind, take a deep breath, and say, yes, releasing. And then the other part is accepting the new energies and knowing how to accept the new energies and release the hold on to the oars and just let the rapids flow. How to integrate that with your being, and how it feels in the highest and best way with the most grace and ease and balance and harmony and joy, the same way that I was doing before. To do that, all you need to do is clear your mind, take a deep breath, and say, yes, new energy. And that's it. So on that, I'm going to go. Ran way over, but I have a lot more to say, so I'm sure there'll be more later. Have a great day. This is Angela with Today's a Cup of Tea.